What's up guys, welcome to my review / update on my YT Izzo Core3. I recently did some modifications on the bike and I just got done doing a ride out here in Western North Carolina at Katsuma Peak. Now that I've gotten a lot more time on the bike and I've ridden a lot more different trails, I just wanted to give you guys an update. For this review, I will be focusing on the things that I've modified and the areas for improvement on the YT Izzo Core3. I'll also include Collin's review after he put some miles on this bike. The first thing I had to change was the seat post. The medium Core3 comes with a 125mm dropper post, and that just wasn't going to cut it for me. I always want my seat to be as low as possible for jumps and steep downhill, and at 5'10", the math just doesn't work out. I swapped it out for a Brand X Ascend 170mm dropper post, and that put me exactly where I needed to be. The next big modification I did was adding a bit of travel to the fork. This bike comes with a Fox 34 fork with 130mm of travel. I upped it just a bit to 140mm. Overall, I didn't notice much of a difference with the climbs. In the downhill, I felt a very subtle difference. But after riding Katsuma before and after the swap, I can say I felt so much better after the ride with the extra 10mm of travel. And even before this change, I can say that this bike handled most of the Pisgah trails I've ridden, with the exception of Farlow Gap, which I honestly don't think I would have enjoyed on any bike really. Just not my kind of trail. For the most part, especially on XC trails, the 130mm rear and 140 front is a great combo. I do feel like I can make some adjustments and get it exactly where I want, but I plan on keeping the suspension travel where I have it now. I also swapped the tires to tubeless. I do like the tires that the bike comes with, and changing to tubeless has made it even better. I mentioned in my last video that I wanted to change to a standalone dropper lever to run it lower, but honestly, I just got used to it and I don't mind its position now. I haven't done anything with the brakes, but I kind of think this is a weak point for this bike. Maybe I'm just that much of a SRAM hater, but the brakes don't feel great and aren't as responsive as I'd like. I'll probably swap them out for Shimano one day. The other major thing I'm going to change is the seat. I didn't mind it at first on some shorter rides, but the longer rides have proven to me that this seat is not right for me. Especially those long gravel or parkway rides, it becomes painful pretty quick. At first, I did not like this bike for jumps, and it really bummed me out. But after riding some trails in Wisconsin, I got the feel for it, and I actually really like doing jumps on the Izzo. I think it just took me a bit because the geometry is so different from my previous bike. Overall, I am happy with my YT Izzo Core3, and I'm getting it very close to a great all-around bike for cross-country, downhill, and bike parks. Before I share the clip of Collin talking about his first ride on my bike, I just want to say that it kind of messed him up. During the lap he took on my bike, he had a revelation and realized that he would have a lot more fun on most of the trails that he rides if he had a shorter travel bike. So if you're in the same situation looking for a shorter travel bike, check out his review on the Intense that he just bought, because my bike is what inspired him to buy that bike.
Alright, so I just got done spinning some laps on Andy's YT Izzo Core4. And honestly,
it's a Core3.
Core3. Sorry, Core3. Andy didn't have enough money. We could use some more subscribers so we can get some of that finance for Core4s and such. But anyways, I really like this bike. I think for the trails I ride, it would be perfect. I guess maybe it would be interesting to try with a 140mm fork. And also, it would be really cool if the owner switched the tires over to tubeless. I think that would have helped with some traction. One thing, I know a lot of people on this bike kind of shit on the tires. When I was in North Carolina and I rode this for a second, I think I felt a little of what people were saying, and that may have just been some of the sandy terrain and the roots that I was feeling the front end push. Out here it was actually pretty muddy and I didn't experience any of that, and I was waiting for it to happen. So overall, even with the SRAM package, which I'm not usually a fan of, this bike was really smooth and it feels very nimble and fast on the trails.